Today's game space is connect your cloud drives. So we're going to go ahead and pop back onto this game page here and scroll down to the connect your cloud drives space and look at the instructions there. So for connecting cloud drives, first I just want to share a little bit about what a cloud drive is. So a cloud drive simply is a storage space that is independent of your actual physical device. So it's a hard drive that lives, let's say it flies about in the cloud per se. It's not necessarily attached to your computer. So saving your data on a cloud drive allows you to take advantage of the security and redundancy of a much larger company and a much larger array of devices. So when I'm talking about cloud drives, I'm talking about drives like OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, and iCloud for Windows. Also, iClouds for Mac um, is also a cloud drive and it's automatically connected to your Mac. So we're going to talk about connecting these cloud drives um, a little bit further in this presentation. But the cloud drive, what they are, the deep and gritty of what they are is they're basically computers stored elsewhere. So these computers are all around the world in very secret, secure warehouses, and they're redundant, which means that if one of the hard drive, blows up or is harmed in any way, there is a backup so that your stuff is safe. Your stuff is also provide a certain measure of security because these cloud drives, it's their job to make sure you're secure, and so they do whatever they can to provide that security. That also allows you to save stuff in a place where if your computer falls in the lake, you don't lose all your stuff. Now, that's super great. However, there are times when the cloud drives are not real user friendly. So let's take a look at some of the more popular cloud drives, and then we'll dig into how to connect them and make them super duper useful. So here, this is an example of OneDrive, which OneDrive is Microsoft's cloud drive. And so as we see here, I've got these folders, and they are great little placeholders for information that I have stored in the cloud in this account. So I can go to onedrive.com and I can log in with my OneDrive account and I can get access to the folders and files in this OneDrive account. Now I can also do the same with a Google account. Here is Google's Cloud Drive, and it's got a nice tidy way of holding files. Here we've got files down here. We got folders up here. You can change the view in this interface to have the folders up here and the files down here. This here is my test account. I generally recommend that people keep their files in folders in this particular beginning view. Over here in Dropbox, we also have another interface where these are the folders that are in the Dropbox cloud, and they also hold data. So this is very useful, but just in the cloud, if you're wanting something that's just in the cloud, you would need to log into your Dropbox.com and use their interface, which isn't always the best. So here, as we click on this, we can see the different files available. If we wanted to attach them to an email, we would have to download the file into our hard drive and then attach it to our email and then send it off. There are some other ways of dealing with that through the shared capabilities, but sometimes you just want the files connected to your computer because you're used to it. You may be used to dealing with Finder or Windows File Explorer. So let's take a look here at my Finder account, and I'm going to go ahead and just click on my Dropbox to show you what I mean. So this is my particular Dropbox. Here is my particular OneDrive. And then of course I have a cloud drive down here. So these are all connected to my computer. And because they're cloud drives connected to my computer, if my computer fell into the sea, I would not lose all my stuff. And I'm going to show you how you can do the same. So let's go back to the post here with our instructions. Find your favorite cloud drive. Like I had alluded to earlier, if you have a Mac, you already have iCloud and it's already installed in your computer. If you have a PC, it also already has OneDrive and it should be installed in your computer, and all you need to do is hook it up. Now, let's say you're on a Mac and you want to have OneDrive, or if you're on a PC and want to have iCloud, you can go and download that program and get it connected. I'm going to go ahead and go completely other brand and choose Dropbox here for demonstration. So we're going to say that our favorite cloud drive is Dropbox. I'm going to connect the Dropbox account to my computer, and you do that by going to the Dropbox install. Now, on this blog post that I have here, I have links to the actual install files, but you don't necessarily want to trust links unless you really trust the website that you're using. You can, of course, do a search for Dropbox install, and it will take you to a download so that you can install Dropbox. Or you could do the same with OneDrive or Google Drive or whichever cloud drive you're wishing to install. So we're going to go back to our Dropbox here, and in installing the drive, so as we're thinking about, okay, why would we want to install this drive? Installing the drive will make it so that these files here that you have in your Dropbox account will show up in your Finder view here. So this Dropbox, I already have Dropbox connected to my own personal Dropbox account, not my test Dropbox account, but that's where it would go. And the same is true for the PC. The PC uses the little yellow file folder, and it looks a little bit more like this once it's connected. So let's go back to this install. To install a cloud drive, you simply go through the process. You'll download it and it will go down into probably your downloads folder. If a box comes up asking where you want to save it, it's safe to save it in your downloads. And you just go ahead and you save it. And then once you've saved it, once you've downloaded it, then you'll need to open it. And it may think about it for a little bit and it will bring you up a box. And if you're on the PC or on the Mac, you would double click this little box. If you're on the Mac, or if you're on the if you're on the Mac, you double click the little box. If you're on the PC, it will give you a different instruction on how to do that download. But you'll go through the download process. Just simply go through the steps. As I say, jump through the hoops and do what it asks. As long as you are agreeing to things and saying yes to things and opening things, you're fine because you know that you are trying to install Dropbox. So it's okay to accept the things it wants to do. Once you have your Dropbox installed, you may need to open the program. And the for the Mac, you'll want to go to your launcher, so you'll see where all of your programs are, and you can open your Dropbox. If you're on the PC, you would go to your Start menu, and you can go find Dropbox from there. Chances are pretty good that once you go through this download process, it will walk you through and open the program and allow you to sign in. So in the case that it doesn't, we're going to go to, whoops, do a search. I'm just going to bring up the search on my Mac here so that you can find it. You could also click the little search button. If you're on a PC, your search button is often down here. And we're just going to go ahead and open Dropbox. So Dropbox will have an app. And when you open that app, it's going to let you go through the process. And what it wants is it wants you to sign into your Dropbox account. Once you've signed into your Dropbox account, the little symbol will appear up here if you're on a Mac. The little symbol will appear down in the lower right-hand corner if you're on a PC, and it will look like this. It'll either be down here in this bar, Or when you click this little up jobber here, this box will appear and it will show up here. These are cloud drives connected to this particular PC for the sake of this image. Once you've got your cloud drive connected, you notice that it is where it's supposed to be here on the Mac, you've got it in this upper right corner, PC lower right corner. You can click on the icon and it will give you this little dialog box. This box will tell you whether or not it's behaving itself. Now these cloud drives are super cool and super fun. They're also a bit temperamental and they forget what they're doing. So you want to check them from time to time to make sure that they are indeed syncing your information. Because what it does with a cloud drive is a cloud drive will connect to your computer and it will put itself on your computer here as I show you in the Finder. It'll put itself here. And so here you've got a folder. This folder and all of its contents are actually on your computer taking up space for the most part. With both OneDrive, Google Drive, and Dropbox, some of the data is stored in the cloud. So notice the little symbols here on my Dropbox. This one shows a little cloud. This one shows a little check mark. This one shows a green check mark. This green check mark means it's actually taking up space on my hard drive and synchronizing with the cloud. So that if I'm disconnected from the cloud, I still have all the files in this folder. This one here means some of the files are downloaded and taking up space on my computer and some are not. And same with these little folders, these little cloud jobbers here. It means that none of the files in this particular folder are downloaded and taking up space on my computer. However, if I wanted to go and look at them, I would simply need to click on them and probably double click, and that will force them to actually download onto my computer. I do need an internet connection for this. Now you may find with your cloud drives that that one file that you had didn't quite synchronize, and that's okay. It happens on occasion. These little guys either might say that it's not up to date or it's still synchronizing, or it may vanish completely. If it vanishes completely, you simply have to open the program again. So just like we did here by going to search and typing Dropbox or OneDrive or whichever drive is giving you troubles, go ahead and restart it, and that will remind the program to do its job. So in the case of one of the most common uses of a cloud drive and having it connect to your computer is you have it on your phone. So if you were to download your Dropbox connected to your phone and have it remember all your pictures or save all your pictures, it can do that. You do have to remind it to do its job, which means you would have to open the Dropbox app on your phone and remind it to upload the pictures that you have taken to Dropbox. Then when you get to your computer, you might have to remind this little Dropbox to connect again to the cloud to download your pictures to this computer. That's just one example of how the cloud drives work. Because remember, they're in the cloud. Your phone would have to go fetch it from the cloud, and then your computer would have to go fetch it from the cloud. So it has to be uploaded to the cloud before it can be downloaded from the cloud. Hoping that makes sense. It should if you really think through how that would logistically work. So I do recommend connecting your clouds. You may decide that you don't want to. You may decide that you don't want your cloud drives connected to your computer. Those of you who use Google Drive, this is often the case because even when you are connected to your Google Drive, every time you open a file, it's going to open your internet and go to your actual uh, Google Drive online. You don't have to have the internet to deal with Google Drive. You can download the offline version, but we rarely do that these days if you have a good connection to the internet. So that's a quick little primer on cloud drives, and you can find this space here on the Rescue Your Digital Office game on the game page. So go ahead and check it out. Thank you all for joining me, and until next time, I will see you all about the internet.